Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It is March 15th, 2020. It is some sort of gaming podcast. The year is now over when it barely began. So there's a lot of cancellations going on when it comes to events, and still not a whole lot of information coming from PlayStation / Sony. But there are games that just came out this past week, and some other information that we're going to be gathering around during the podcast, because I like this format where we just look for information during the podcast. But before we get started, let's start off with what people have been doing this week. I'm going to just start off with LadyInfamous first.
Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. I did a lot of... I haven't been gaming like as much as I wanted to the first half of the week, going through some things. But on Thursday, I didn't stream as much, but I did play a little bit. I played some Monster Hunter World all by myself. I don't have the Iceborne. I'm sorry, the Iceborne
expansion.
Yeah, I didn't have that, so I just was. The best thing I did was just open up a story, a part of this, like a mission in my story, and then shoot out an SOS, and then they'll come. Then some randos will come and help me, which was the routine of it all. Excuse me.
So how was your experience doing that? But playing solo and then doing SOS flares.
That was the only way I can be able to play. Ain't no way that I could have beaten those monsters by myself. I had to, when I played the first couple of games, I played them by myself. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on level 9. Ain't nothing. I'm gonna go beat this monster real quick. I fainted so much by myself. So I decided to do the SOS flares.
You don't know how much it actually, I guess the way to put it is, it warms my heart that you are getting more into Monster Hunter, even if you don't have a core group to play with all the time, just because I love that game. And I think it deserves more attention. I mean, it's gotten more attention. It's sold millions upon millions of copies, but still, even for outreaching, a gamer of your demographic, who is mostly into action and first person shooters, and how this one didn't grab you immediately, it makes me really happy that you are enjoying it.
Thanks. Also, let me see. I played Warzone heavy the last 2 days. That's the Battle Royale mode for Call of Duty, and I didn't like it at first, but I kind of do.
Well, what made you not like it in the beginning?
Because it was a Battle Royale mode.
I think we kind of established that she doesn't like Battle Royale.
Yeah.
I don't know, but for in Warzone, it's not just, okay, you got to go to the middle of the circle while this gas is getting you. You also have contracts that helps you get money to buy upgrades like a precision airstrike or self-revive or UAV. And you also, if you die, you go to the gulag. That's 1v1, and they'll have a random gunfight, but 1v1 in the gulag lockers. And if you pass, if you beat the gulag 1v1, you go back into the game. But if you don't, you gotta wait till your teammates got 4,500 to cash you out so you can come back.
Didn't Call of Duty already have a Battle Royale mode?
It was called Blackout, and it was trash.
Okay, so I guess the thing I was curious about, because I think even more so than you, I'm not a Battle Royale person. So the question is, what aspects of the new one of Warzone do you think enhanced?
Actually,
Blackout?
Can we talk about that later? Because I have something to talk about that too, and I'm pretty sure Zeldrick has something to talk about that too.
We can answer that question collectively.
Yeah.
We can answer it now, or we can answer it later.
It's up to you guys.
Answer it. It was a simple question. I can answer that. I think that what differentiates from Warzone to Blackout is, one, Warzone is free, to play, except for Xbox. Except for Xbox. Except for
Fortnite
Xbox.
is free.
Yeah, Fortnite's free too.
Apex is free too.
Well, it's not crossplay.
Fortnite is.
Fortnite is.
Man, nobody want to play Fortnite though.
So that was like the main reason why I'm asking, because it's obviously like there's other free to play BR experiences out there, and obviously you didn't like the original version. So I'm like, what's speaking to you about this, or is it just that it's Call of Duty?
No, because I wasn't a fan of Call of Duty Blackout.
Yeah,
the contracts, teamwork is the deal. I played a few times by myself, and they auto-filled me with other teammates. So,
did you talk to them, or did you just use the ping system?
We just some of them didn't even talk. So basically, like movement, you know, I would talk to them, but they won't talk back to me. I was like, oh my God, there's a contract. I'm gonna go get it. Or it, like, for example, one of our teammates was down and we had 4,500 to get him out. So I told my other teammate, which was not speaking to me, I was like, I'm about to go get him. And then we went and got him. He followed. I was like, I don't know about you, but I'm going to go get him back. I left to go to the location where you can revive your teammate. He just followed me. I learned the helicopter skills. Oh,
The chopper?
The chopper. The helicopter.
Wait.
Helicopter.
Okay. All right.
I think I streamed that for like 4 hours today, so I'm thorough with Warzone. But other than that, life was different a week ago. 2 weeks ago, I was ready to like go on vacation and, you know, live ordinary life, and now things are different. So I'm just trying to cope with that and just play games along the way. That's it. Zeldrick, what you been doing?
Most of my week was not playing games and not streaming, because any time that I would get home and then put on my headphones, because all I have is like a monitor speaker. As soon as I put my headphones on, like an hour later, I would just get this massive headache, and I couldn't do anything. So beginning of my week was taking care of classwork stuff. And so glad that that's over for right now, because next week is spring break, and for everybody that I haven't been streaming at all, it paid off because I'm getting pretty good grades in both my math and computer science course. So really happy about that. Though my passive time, like Final Fantasy 14, like if I can just do repetition of like gathering and crafting, like I can just do that a little bit, or watch something. I watched I've been getting through Dracula like so slow, but like I've watched episode 2, and that show just keeps getting better with each moment that you watch it. It's really good. But like you got to commit to an hour and a half for each episode. There's only 3. So
there's only it's a mini series, or there's just only 3 out?
It's only it's a mini series.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
And I did play a little bit of Sekiro later in the week on stream, and that was a lot of fun because it was like 2 weeks since I last played it, and I was like fumbling through everything and relearning how to play the game. So that was fun. And I tried out Blackout, or I'm sorry, not Blackout. Fucking Warzone. I tried out Warzone too, but only like maybe a few times, because that's all the time I had for. And I thought it was decent. I liked it. I mean, another one of those games I have to roll with a crew. That's what I thought at first. And then the last few games that I played today, they went pretty well, surprisingly enough. That's, you know what? That's actually really it for gaming in my week. I really didn't do much, and I couldn't do much. just trying to feel better and get better and just relax off of like studying and everything. Also, like trying to make money, that too. So I'll just move on. T, what did you do today? Or this week?
Yeah, I know what you meant. So I guess contrary to what it sounds like happened with the first two people, because of everything going on in the world, like I was told to work from home all last week, which because of what I do amounts to almost nothing. Like it just means basically I'm home doing nothing. So I played a ton of games. Like it's crazy how many I like look back at my list and I'm like, I actually played like 7 games or something like that. The first one I wanted to try remote play on Steam again. So I played Ultimate Chicken Horse with LadyInfamous.
Oh man, I forgot, man. I forgot about that.
That was pretty much immediately after the podcast.
Yeah, it was right after the podcast. Yeah.
Man,
Ultimate chicken shit.
I got selective memory, man. I don't even remember that.
Yeah. Which was great. I mean, I had played it before. That was LadyInfamous' first time playing it. Yeah, I mean, I think you got like you made it to the end once. But I think you got some points a couple of times.
But I didn't win any.
You didn't win any though. But it was fun. Like, I mean, I guess LadyInfamous, you could talk more to it, but like for me personally, being on the side of the person hosting the game, like I didn't notice any hiccups or issues or anything. So it's clearly not impacting it like from the people who are joining the game back to the host. But how was it on your end?
On my end, it wasn't no buffering. I didn't have any major problems except you beating me all the time. I think remote play it's great. I think it's great on Steam. I mean, you can really utilize that. I'm glad that they implement that on Steam. I think the avatars in the games are so cute.
Yeah. I forget who I picked. Who did I end up picking? I think
I was the squirrel. You was the raccoon.
The raccoon. That's right. Because the raccoon dance is the best. So I picked the raccoon.
So with the hand wavy thing.
The little hand wavy thing.
Yeah. It was a good game. Good times.
Yeah, and the reason why I wanted to ask you that is because it's like that game is like, I mean, I guess gaming in general is like this, but it's pretty important to not really have many drops in that game specifically because it's like platforming and it takes kind of some precision in terms of trying to like navigate through all the obstacles. So that's awesome that it worked out really well. Besides that, I went back and played Ori and the Blind Forest. I did the definitive edition, which isn't what I played the first time. So I guess there's like some extra content in there, which I did find at least one section that was brand new and I beat that. But just like it was the first time, super fun game. I think a lot of people I'm hearing are really invested in the story, which I remember being invested in the story for Ori and the Blind Forest originally. But like, I mean, I'm not going to say too much about this game, but leading up to the fact that I played Ori in the Will of the Wisps, I honestly wasn't super invested in the story in that, but I think that game does exceptionally well, just like the first one in terms of like the entire experience just kind of works really well together. Everything is visually satisfying for the most part without the bugs. It's like satisfying to your ears. The gameplay is great. Like it's really tight. Like the platforming is tight. You can easily navigate around the world without too much trouble. I think Sharpie might have had the same issue as me in a couple of spots where like you end up pushing. It's usually when you try to use do the bash attack, which I think is RB or whatever it is on the PlayStation controller for you. But it's like for some reason you accidentally press a trigger. I feel like, yeah. That happened to me like a million times while I was playing the game. But again, jumped into that like first day, like basically played it to what I call 100%. This meaning Will of the Wisps, not Blind Forest Definitive Edition, but played to that what I call 100%. I only didn't do some races, which I'm going to try to knock out like this week. And then there's a couple of things that were locked in the game that I have no idea what they are, so I don't even know how I would actually get those. It's in the collectible section. There's like this little character you can go up to and he'll tell you all your stats or whatever. I don't know if you saw that or not, Sharpie, but like there's two.
The little lizard guy?
Yeah, there's like he's not a wizard. He's like a fox or something.
Lizard.
Oh, lizard. Yeah. There you go. But there's like 2 padlocks at the bottom of that list. They just say locked, and I'm like, I don't know what they are. So I didn't get those, but everything else I got, like all the energy orbs and life extensions and energy extensions and abilities, like all that kind of stuff. Overall, that was a great game. Again, I wasn't super invested in the story. I just like kind of like the big action of it and like, the chase scenes and all that kind of stuff. So that was really cool. After I finished that, I didn't know what to play, but I ended up playing like something that I found on Xbox Game Pass because I played Ori and the Will of the Wisps on the Game Pass as well. And I played it's called Piku Niku.
Oh
Yeah, that game is so charming.
That game is so ridiculous. I honestly don't even know how to describe it other than like you're this sort of monster. You're this character who wakes up
Does that character look familiar to you?
That's from the game we played. Remember the first Heave Hope game that we played towards the end, and I had that little person with the legs. Is that the one?
Yeah, the face and the arms. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, what are we talking about?
So, Piku Niku is in Heave Ho as a character.
You didn't know that?
I don't remember. Is that the main character supposed to be him or something?
No, not the main character of Heave Ho. Like there.
Yeah, where's he in Heave Ho then?
You unlock a character skin that is Piku Niku, and it's just.
Oh, I don't even remember seeing that. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
yeah.
I played.
That was
I
the
played
character
with
you
him,
picked.
Like in the first time we played Heave Ho towards the end.
Yeah.
Of the stream when I changed my character.
I'll have to go check that out. I did not recognize that at all.
I thought you did.
But no, not while I was playing Piku Niku. I'm sure I saw the character when you picked him, but like I'm saying, while I was playing this game, I didn't figure that out at all. But it's kind of it's kind of described as a puzzle adventure game, but it wasn't really that much in the way of puzzles. It's more kind of like platforming. It's like action platformer light. Like it's not difficult at all. Like there's a little bit of puzzle action in there, but it's just kind of this silly story of this character that wakes up in this mountain cave kind of thing. And once he gets out, everybody that's outside is like scared of him because there was some legend of a monster that lived in this cave on the mountain. And so when he came out, they're like, oh yeah, that's him. And they're all scared of him. And then he has to he starts out trying to prove himself just so that they'll let him kind of like, I guess, be a part of the town a little bit. So he like breaks a bridge accidentally and he has to fix it. And they're like, once you fix it, then, you can start getting into the houses and talking to other characters and they give you missions and stuff like that. It's kind of like this cute little charming, like I said, puzzle adventure game. Really cool. The writing was really good. Like it actually had me laughing in a couple of spots. And then like the story was it was really engaging, even though right now I could not tell you what the hell happened in that game. It's such a weird game, but it was like awesome. It was a great little experience. Again, it was just free on Game Pass, so I tried that. Then after that, I jumped into play a game that like when I went to PAX West, I saw this game called Stella, which was, I didn't know what to make of it really, but all I saw was like this kind of 20 seconds of footage or something like that of this girl walking through a forest with like these crazy looking scary humanoid type monster creatures walking around. And it looked super atmospheric and super kind of like moody. And I was like, I want to play that because I know I've been a fan of stuff like Inside and Little Nightmares, stuff like that, where, it kind of has like a little bit of a dark side to it, but it's not really horror necessarily, but it's kind of like a dark action platformer, I guess. But that game was awesome. Especially like it creeped me out in a lot of ways from probably in about it's only a 2-hour game, maybe in about the first like hour and 15 minutes or so, kept creeping me out with like all the different creatures that would show up. And like I said, really good with atmosphere and it had like some cool sort of kind of big action scenes. Nothing that your character, all she could really do was like run, move objects and jump. So it wasn't like action on her part, but it was action more so on the part of what was going on in the scene. So that one was really cool. About the last 45 minutes, like it got super weird and I don't know what the hell happened. She started like climbing up these weird sort of upside down pyramids and like they were scanning these things that looked like they were, how they would show the inside of a computer in the 80s kind of thing. It took like a strange turn at the end, but it still was like a nice cohesive story in the end. And then like the last game was the last game that I played, which was super random, was I decided to play what is it called? I'm blanking on the name now. It's an animal fighting game. I'm gonna think of the name.
Fight of Animals.
There you go. Fight of Animals. Yeah. Or animal fighting game, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
Which was like, I don't know. That was like the most random game probably I played this entire week. It's like the collection of characters in the game is silly. Really, it's just like a super basic fighting game where there are all these animals. One of them's like Crowrilla? It's like a combination of a crow and a gorilla. There's one that's called like Bad Dog, which is, just a dog with massive muscles. There's like a squirrel you can fight as. There's like all these different animal creatures in this kind of really sort of basic, almost button mashing fighting game. And like I said, that was just kind of like spur of the moment type of thing. It was interesting though, because it actually did a really good job of, I think, showcasing a lot of like basic fighting mechanics. Like it would be a good game for somebody to start as an initial fighting game, like if they want to get into it. Because it did a good job of teaching you like, what type of attacks do you block low? What do you attack? What type of attacks do you block high? Like counters, all that kind of stuff. So it does a good job of that, except for the fact that the AI is way too freaking hard. Like I played it on normal and it took me like 6 tries to beat the first guy. So, but yeah, that was kind of it. Other than the last thing I wanted to mention. Obviously, I played more of that Goku Saga game I keep talking about with mobile. But at Sharpie's recommendation, I started playing what I think is one of the most confusing games I've ever played in my life on like mobile, which is actually the King of Fighters All-Star game. That game, like in terms of menus and like all the places you can go to collect stuff that you've earned and like buy stuff, that game is so confusing, dude.
Yeah, that's how I felt at first too. But then like I got a hang of it and I know how to like do my daily routine.
Yeah, I figured you get to there at some point, but like, the actual fighting is super simple. Like you can either fight yourself, meaning you control the character with kind of a virtual analog stick and press buttons to attack and stuff like that. Or you can tell it to auto fight, which we were talking about this before. I really like because I'm like, I can start it and go get something done while they're fighting and then just come back and start another fight or whatever. So I can make progress without having to actually be staring at the phone for the most part. Because the AI does get kind of stupid in that game. Like, especially, how the boss characters will have like a red line that shows where they're going to attack. Mm-hmm. Sharpie? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. The
like, do you
indicators, right?
Yeah. If you're on auto, they'll just sprint right at that red area.
Yeah, they'll try to use as many cooldowns as quickly as possible, and they just beeline it to the next person.
Yeah. But other than that, it's easy enough to just like start a fight and just like put your phone down and like, wash a couple dishes, pick it back up, and the fight's done. And you've earned stuff. But yeah, again, it's going to take me a bit to figure out those menus. It's like, I have no idea what's going on. There's so much there. But I think it'll be worth it. I think I'm actually going to play some more of that because I started unlocking a lot of characters really quickly. So at least it felt satisfying in that sense. So
I got one friend slot left. We should add each other.
I tried to look for you. I assumed you'd be JSharpie, but I didn't find anybody.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll send you my info.
All right. Well, so what did you get to play, Sharpie?
All right. So for me, well, before I talk about what I played, I want to talk about what I watched on Netflix. And one of them was bad, one of them was okay, and the third one was like, wow, this is like the most heart-wrenching thing I ever watched in my life. It was so good. The first one that was bad was Dragon Quest. And I loved Dragon Quest, the video game, but that movie is so bad. Movie? Yeah, it's a movie on Netflix. It came out like a few weeks ago, apparently.
Wait, is it live action?
No. It's all CG. But I'll say this, like, I bet, like, for me, I felt like 90% of the budget went into the art. And then, like, like 5% went into the story and then the other 5% went into animation, which is like the animation of it, like the movements and all that. It felt like some people that just came out of college and then just started interning and learning how to animate characters. That's what it felt like. But lighting and artwork and colors looked great in that movie.
Well, that's
Nice.
nice.
Yeah, and then the story is just like, oh my god, like it starts off bad and it gets good and it gets really bad at the end. So it's just like it's hella stupid. I don't know if you're gonna watch it, but if you are, I'm not gonna say anything. But if you aren't, then I'll talk about it either now or after the podcast.
Wait, I never
was
planned
the-
to watch it.
Was the story like based at all around the story in the games?
Kind of until the end.
Okay.
Yeah, the ending was just like
Yeah, so you can't spoil it for me then. I don't know what the hell happened in the games. I only played one of them, so.
Oh yeah, Dragon Quest was like, I loved Dragon Quest more than Final Fantasy when I was younger, like a lot more.
So, as far as for when this one takes place, did it actually give you a clear detail as far as for like in between which games it takes place, or
It focuses on 5.
okay,
Yeah, because you can tell because of the character designs and everything. It's just like, well, I mean, they're all Akira Toriyama's art, but then like the costumes that they wear and all that, it looks like 5.
okay.
Okay, so I watched that, and then immediately afterwards, I was like, oh, Mewtwo Strikes Back Evolution is also on Netflix, which is the 3D version of the first Pokemon movie.
So before you say anything, I saw a side by side of a lot of scenes of that, and I was just like, I don't even like the remake of it, just how it looks visually. But
Yeah, so that's how I felt at first too, but I was like saying, you know what? This actually is pretty well done if you actually started watching it.
okay,
Like that's how I felt like when I was like watching it throughout the whole movie. I was like, something about this feels kind of odd. And then like the more like I continue watching it, I was like saying, okay, now it's starting to make more sense. Oh wow, that looks really cool. It looked better than like the cartoon version and stuff like that. Like yeah, because I remember a lot of it. But then like the first movie is super iconic in Japan because there was this one song like that. I think it won an award in Japan, but then they didn't play it in the movie because like like even though I watched the whole movie in Japanese, like the songs were all in the English version, like the remixed English versions of it. So like I felt like that I kind of missed out on this one iconic song in Japan. But other than that, I also watched like another movie. It's called like A Silent Voice, and it's like about a guy who was bullying this little deaf girl, and when he was younger, and then like it was pretty much based around him and his redemption to like make everything right. And I was just like, oh my god, this is a good movie. Even like it. Like you, even if you don't watch anime, I think this is like a highly recommended movie.
Oh, I was just about to ask. Okay, it was anime. Got you.
Yeah. So yeah, I highly recommend this, like that movie, A Silent Voice. It apparently came out in 2016, which I think I seen posters of it. I just never got around to watching it until like a few days ago.
so it's a redemption story, and in the beginning, it's him bullying a deaf girl. But like, is this redemption sort of extremely fulfilled?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, and it does a lot of things right. Like it does very interesting aspects, and this is something that you usually see. Like they did like this ballsy move that you don't really see in media, where usually like when they do stories like this, like the person that got bullied is the one that tries to tries to get stronger and redeem themselves. But instead, they took the approach of making it the bullier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then not only that, like they have all these characters that shows like that has flaws in every single one of them that they try to overcome, and then it's very, very what's that word? Like relatable in like the real world.
Okay.
And it made me think about like my life too. I was like saying, holy shit, like
Yeah,
if
stop being
these
a
guys
bully,
are all
dude.
flawed. Huh? Oh
Stop
no,
being a
it's
bully.
not about the bully. Like it's all like the flaws of every character in that movie. Like
Yeah.
it's not just a bully, yeah. But it's like, the people that were like, they didn't want to take part on certain things. Like this, it's like, oh, but you were they were like blaming each other and stuff like that. These are all like teenagers by the time the movie ended. But then, yeah, it starts off with them like from like elementary school. But anyways, yeah, go watch The Silent Voice. It's really good. I mean, you can watch it in English too, but I watch it in Japanese, like without subtitles, because I didn't want to read. Because for some reason, even when I know what they're saying, I end up reading the subtitles, so I like turn that off.
Yeah, I get what you mean, but like I just don't want to have like a line misheard. Like if I mishear a line, I don't want to go back and like rewatch that scene because I was and not and just go through that trouble. That's why I always have subtitles on.
Yeah. So yeah, the idea, yeah. So like the way how they like approached everything, like it's crazy. Like I can tell you one thing that happened in that film that doesn't really spoil anything. It's just how it's like presented. Basically, like he feels so ashamed that he ends like how they mark everything is that they put like this big blue X mark on everybody's faces that he doesn't want to look at, and then like sometimes it'll cut to a scene like a short segment of him like looking at people's shoes because he doesn't want to be looking at people's like faces and all that.
Wild. Okay. So they do a lot of stylistic choices that revolve around him being
I have one question.
Huh?
How Japanese is this, in your opinion?
It's how Japanese is this? I don't really know. If you ever actually experience like people blaming each other, or if you blaming each other or didn't want to take part in like a certain confrontation, in it even here in America, like I think it'll be very relatable, or you've seen it happen.
So I'm mainly asking because you said like there's people who like he doesn't want to look him in their face and he's looking at his shoes and stuff. That sounds like something, I don't know, that to me, in terms of what I've seen just culturally and stuff like that, I would assume that would come from somewhere of like Japanese culture.
Yeah, I mean there's some cultural spots too, like going to watch fireworks and a yukata and stuff like that. But then that's about like that's only like that portion. Like when it comes to like the psychological aspect of it, like I think it's very universal.
Well, and not looking at people and just looking away from people is not necessarily a cultural thing. It's more of an introverted sort of thing that I see in America. Like
people like looking at their shoes though. It's not the looking away thing. It's like looking down at your shoes.
Or it's more like ignoring people because you feel so ashamed from what you did. So you try to like block people away from you. I feel like that's pretty universal when you have like some sort of PTSD type of aspect.
Right.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, I highly recommend this movie. The animation's super well done too. Like, they did like sign language and all of that, and then the animation of their hands and stuff like that. I was like, holy crap, that's amazing. Like everything's just all hand drawn.
The animation, like I think when you focus on a specific action, the animation has to be good for it. And when you're doing something it's especially like sign language, if you have shitty animation that is actually showing real sign language, it's gonna come off as bad. So I'm glad that they actually did that.
Yeah, but it's JSL, so it's not. You're not even if you learned ASL, you're not gonna understand like half of it.
Well, that doesn't matter. I mean, it's more like the animation being that the focus of that part is the sign language, and even if it's a different language of sign language, the fact that the animation is drawn well at a focal point of the scene, like that means that there is production quality on it. So I'm glad that they put in the time for something like sign language.
Yeah. Anyways, so now to gaming. I also played Will of the Wisp. And boy, that game is great. I love that game so much. I finished it yesterday. And I also played Warzone too. And I was like, wow, this is probably like the best BR I ever played so far. But back to Will of the Wisp. Like I said, like what T said, like everything about that game is just it mixes well together in this, you know, in the dish. You know, basically like the animation's great, the artwork's great, the coloring's great, the effects are great, the controls are great, everything. The music is great too, and then like the pacing of everything is great too. Although like I was like, holy shit, the map size is super big. And there were like some moments where I got hella frustrated that I ended up watching a YouTube video on how to get past this one specific part.
Which part was that?
That darkness area.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you actually ended up looking it up.
Yeah, I was like, how do I get past this part? Like, there's no way that this should be this hard. And then like, apparently there's this one like firefly thing that I missed.
Wait, do you remember when you were playing? I was like, is there like a bug somewhere above you? It's
no,
because
no,
like
it was way it was at a
no, I'm not saying
different
like
location.
I'm not saying it was at that spot, but I think what happened was, so when I was playing, I don't know if you remember this, Zeldrick, but there was a time where I was like, I don't know how to do this, and then you were like, look above you, I just saw a bug up there, and then like I went and got that bug, and it went in like a different direction.
Mm-hmm.
I'm guessing that at some point you got there, didn't see the bug, and kept going. So you got to a point where you're like, now that I'm here, I don't know where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah, it's that it was like the bug that trails you to get your next ability.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was that exact same one because I missed it too when I was in that section until Zeldrick found it for me.
So it was like I was like saying, dude, how the do I get past this point? So like anyway, so because I probably spent like an hour just looking for this thing.
Yeah.
So
that was your moment.
Not even looking. I was just trying to use the fireball to like light myself through by, you know.
Yeah, so that was your moment, dude. We thought it was gonna be when we were talking about. I had my moment where I was stuck for like an hour. That was your moment.
Yeah. So yeah, and then like I thought about this for a while about that game. Like it's still in the back of my head, like the entire like story aspects of it too. Like I was like saying, wow, that was a great game. Like but like, you know, a few weeks ago I played Ori 1, the first Ori game, and then I was thinking about this too. Like I also played Bloodstained and Indivisible, and they're all Metroidvania games. They all control well, but something about Bloodstained that I did not that I did not like, and I'm trying to figure. That's what I'm like struggling trying to figure out what it is about that game that I did not like. Like it could be the music, it could be the artwork or whatever. Like something about it just like I just kept trying to stay awake, just trying to play through that game. And I just never got around to like figuring out like what it is about that game that I didn't like.
It was putting you to sleep?
Yeah, it was like literally putting me to sleep.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know what it is. But yeah, like if you liked Ori, I think you should play Indivisible. It's also on Game Pass now.
Duh.
Oh yeah, I was already playing. Remember, I had planned to play it Indivisible like day one. I just didn't get around to it. So, but I did see that it was on Game Pass.
Yeah, to me, that was like the game of the decade for me last decade, and that's saying a lot.
And if you like Metroidvanias, Blasphemous is a really good one too.
Yeah, I'll see it about that. Anyways, so now to Warzone for Call of Duty. I have a lot to say. Well, when I say a lot, probably not like an hour's worth, but you know, a lot enough for me to like say more than about other battle royales.
I think what we can do is make a check mark as far as for like what differences, what makes Warzone unique when it comes to battle royales and stuff. And I think collectively, and I've heard this from several other people, that it's a good thing. The gulag, I think it's a really good idea. It's very different. And like, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's one of the greatest ideas out there.
To have a chance to come back in the game for free?
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
I
not
know
only that, it keeps the pacing going.
Yeah. Like it's when you die, like it's not over, so you gotta like run around and stuff, and you can run around the gulag and wait for your turn. There was a time though where it was late into the game and I got put in the gulag and I was sitting there for like 2 or 3 minutes waiting for somebody to come back in, or to someone to die so that I can fight them. I ended up dying from that, but now there is a broken thing that I mentioned to Sharpie last night, but if you spray paint someone in the gulag when you're waiting, that paint stays on and you can see them so clearly through like Modern Warfare's shitty lighting. And it's great. And I watch streams of people doing that all the time and it's so fucking funny. But another thing being that bringing in your own loadouts as a care package.
I was using 2 tacos, boy, all the time. Yes, remember? I don't know. I saw you was watching the stream the other day. So I was like, that's the best part of the game. You can make you a loadout. Like, before you even play Warzone, you can make you a custom loadout. And then when the friendly loadout comes out, you can rock with your classic multiplayer setup. And it's good because then you're familiar with what your loadout is, which is a better chance of shooting people and stuff.
Exactly. And Sharpie and I were kind of in the same boat when it came to custom loadouts, because we didn't I don't know how much he played multiplayer, but like I played a little bit of multiplayer, and I can't
play multiplayer.
Oh, you don't have the game. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, actually, I mean, this still pertains to you, but like, I don't have all the guns unlocked, and for Sharpie, he doesn't have any of the guns unlocked, but the custom loadout thing is still prevalent for people that don't own the game, because you can unlock all these guns and these attachments for all these guns really, really fast. I got 5 scopes for 1 gun in like 3 rounds. That was like, that's how fast I was unlocking stuff for my guns. So like, if anybody's worried about like, yeah, I want to use this gun, but I can't, like, don't worry. You're going to unlock shit fast. Just play the game. And even then, like, you can unlock, or you can use all these guns that are in the game as loot box drops in around the area and stuff. So that's really cool too. Being able to buy your teammate back if they lose the gulag, or if they can't fight in the gulag at all, like that's a really good idea too.
Yeah, I like that idea too, because instead of just just grab their dog tag and just bring them back, like instead there has to be an incentive to do that.
Right. And that's actually something that happened in one of my games, where it was like somebody had lost in the gulag and we had to bring him back at some point, but he wouldn't have money to have like any good shit on him, and he was going to be stuck with basic stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take your gun, and then when you come back, we'll find a shitty gun and I'll just take that, drop yours. And so there was just planning around that, and that was really cool. And what do you guys think about the gas? Like how much it hurts?
It hurts without the gas mask. It hurts.
I really like the idea that they make it super quick.
Yeah. The difference though with the incoming gas is that any other battle royale, you have a health and then you have a shield. And the outside area only hurts your health. This hurts your health and your shield. So that's another way, another way that it makes it different. And it is another one of those pushes for every single player that you need to be moving all the time. Not even like when you get used to the game, it's like, no, you actually have to be moving all the time, and you have to figure out your shit really quick. And And the gas mask that you mentioned, LadyInfamous, I think Sharpie, you should tell the short story of
What happened last night?
Yeah, what happened with the last guy when we were watching him.
Oh yeah. So this guy, he was out in the outskirts of the gas, and then he was like inching his way into the battlefield because there was a whole lot of gunfighting going on in front of him and to the right of him and to the left of him. There was a whole lot of gunfighting going on. He didn't want to be in the middle of it. So but then like he didn't have any protection around him other than like certain grassy areas and trees, and like a few trees. And it was like that big frozen lake too. So like he was like inching his way into the battle zone, and then he kept, like entering the gas area and exiting the gas area, and then like you can see him like putting it on and taking it off like multiple times. Like I know that's done automatically because I had a gas mask before too, but like it was hella funny how this guy just kept utilizing that as the best of his abilities to like just try and survive.
Yeah. Like it was one of those things where it's just like you can't fight it, but because there's too many people, but he was waiting it out, so everybody was like fighting each other, and he picked off a few guys as they were all fighting each other at the same time, and he would just get left alone for like a couple of minutes because they were all fighting each other, but also he was going back into the gas and leaving it and just skirting it like frequently. So nobody was actually thinking about looking inside the gas, and that was a really cool move for him.
That's smart.
I think I named it all, but is there anything else that we're missing as far as for like what makes this unique?
I'll say the PC settings.
Well, that's for Call of Duty in general, but like for Warzone contracts, that you mentioned that. So explain these contracts.
These various contracts will be like a bounty. One is a bounty. That means that there's like a person in the area from the opposite team. You got to go hunt them down. You kill them, you get money. Another one is find 3 stashes. You get 3 stash boxes within your surrounding area. You grab 3 stash boxes, which they'll have items in them. And then after the third one, you get money and XP. And the third one, I believe, is secure, aka headquarters. So it's like mini games within the Warzone universe that you don't even have to like. It don't have to be strictly battle royale. When I was playing, we usually do these contracts to make sure we have enough money in the bank for just in case someone dies and they don't win the gulag. We have enough money to buy them out and tell them to come back. So that's a nice little departure from while you're doing the contracts, you still got to worry about people killing you. So,
right.
Yeah.
And I just had something and I totally forgot. They add kills. They put kill streaks into Warzone as well. And when I first heard about that, I thought it was going to be completely busted. But I don't think that anymore. I used a UAV for the first time today, and I was like, I needed to time this right. And when I did, it turned out to be really, really helpful. But the fact that the only way that you can get some of these kill streaks is by boxes or by buying a couple of them. It kind of, and you don't get like massive amounts of money unless you're completely owning. But the fact that you don't, for a typical game, you don't get a lot of money. It makes picking these kill streaks or a UAV or whatever much more like precious with your time and precious with your money. And that was I thought that was really cool. Though I did also see that anytime that you find a heartbeat sensor, you take it. It is the best tactical I don't know.
Yeah, you have to kind of time it
but
to use it too, though.
I guess so.
Because it does a pulse like once every few seconds.
Right. But it's still like really helpful, and it's been the most helpful thing that I've had in any of my games. So I think this we have a winner when it comes to battle royales. As for right now, I mean, it does a lot of things right. But also, so I guess to move on from that, did you guys try out Plunder?
I have.
Today, yeah, I did.
I have.
What'd you guys think?
It's all right.
It's all right, but I think it's the best way
$1
for
million.
me. Oh, yeah.
It's $1 million. $1 million is a lot to collect.
I kept getting 9th and 10th place, but
I'd be getting 6th and 2nd.
So with Plunder, every team, like the point of it is to get to $1 million, yes. But you can deposit your cash at these drop points, or you can Fulton your money if you get that. I don't know if you just find it or if you can buy it or something like that, but that is a thing that you can get.
I mean, you can't just drop it off. You have to wait for them to come too. And it lets everybody in the area know that that's there.
Right. So it's another one of those like run and gun, but you also need to play it like in a tactful way. And when I was watching some of this gameplay of Plunder, it was some of the most fun I've watched for a battle royale, because you keep coming back in Plunder.
Some people don't get that though. Some people just leave the game after they die.
Yeah, so if you're playing Plunder, stay if you die, because you just lose some of your money. But when you have nothing, you can just run out and just find dudes and and just do your best to kill them. But then you start making all this money and it's like, okay, wait, we can't do this anymore. We got to either deposit this, or we got to like wait this out, or we got to do something. We can't just run and gun. So it's a lot of back and forth of being tactful and then going out to just mob guys and then being tactful again, like this back and forth. And it's a lot of fun. It's pretty, I don't think there's been a game that has done something like Plunder. I don't think so anyways.
Yeah, I can't think of any right now. I mean, I played some PUBG recently too, and Apex, and they haven't really done anything like that.
Okay. I like it. I like Warzone. I don't know how much time I'm going to put into it, but like I really like it.
Yeah, I think they did a lot of things right when it comes to battle royale.
Yeah,
like there's always, because of the whole like revive and like the whole gulag thing, like there's always somebody around instead of like a whole like 5 or 10 minutes of a whole lot of nothing happening.
Yeah,
because that's one thing about like PUBG if like and all that was having problems with is like there's a whole lot of nothing happening.
But what does that kind of say if like this everybody really likes this mode, but it's like I don't know how much I'm gonna play it?
Well, it's more like I don't know how much I'm going to play it because I'm playing other games. That's it. So like when it comes to like other people that like battle royales and they have time to play it, I think that it's going to get a lot of traction.
Yeah. Can I see this as an esports game? No.
Yes. I'm sorry. What?
I was gonna say, are you gonna keep playing it?
Of course.
No, I'm not asking Call of Duty. I'm saying they're gonna keep playing Warzone.
Of course.
Okay.
I had fun. I played 4 hours and didn't even think about it.
Mm-hmm. But that also means that you won't be playing regular Call of Duty then.
No, I can mix it up a little bit.
your vocal tone just changed right there.
It just shifted immediately.
Well, I mean, she's gonna play it, but then she's gonna go back into multiplayer and have all of these unlocks.
I mean, I assume she probably has them already, right?
It depends what unlocks we talking about.
Right.
Oh, I assume if you played it enough, you would have like pretty much everything at that point.
Oh no, there's a lot of unlocks. I just want my assault rifles to be platinum, and I already got the M1 and the AK-47 gold. So
for me, I still don't like the whole unlocking thing. I think everything just should be there from the beginning.
I know, but how they got to make their money?
What do you mean? You don't pay money to unlock them. You just pay money for skins.
I'm talking about like for me, I'm talking about unlocks like for your weapons.
Yeah, I know
as far as
exactly. I think
weapons
everything should just be there, and then you get to pick and choose however the way that you want to play, instead of like, oh, in order
So
for me
you're
to
not
get
talking about
this,
the-
I have to like do this. Like that's why I like Counter-Strike. Everything's just there from the beginning. And like the strategy, they used like the Counter-Strike strategy with the whole money thing. Is like, so you have to be very tactical and think about like the money that you're going to be spending on your weapons for every round in Counter-Strike.
Mm.
But also in Counter Strike, you start with bare bones, and then
Yeah.
like first round.
Yeah, and then like you make money every round, but then like you get more money for doing certain tasks, you know, like planting a bomb or defusing a bomb or winning the round.
So I'm just gonna extrapolate and just say like that. I mean, when you first boot up Call of Duty, you are starting with bare bones, but then you keep playing, and you get your experience, aka money, and you get your other shit. Like,
Yeah, no, but the thing is that like you have to play a new round to, I mean, not a new round, but a whole new game to do that. Like this is like within the same game in Counter-Strike.
Well, I mean, if you do like Warzone, like I said, and just how Warzone is, you're gonna unlock everything like really quick. So
Yeah, like I was like saying I want an AK, and then like the next thing I know is like saying, oh, you have to be level 56 or 7 or 8 to get this thing. I was like, really? I have to actually do that just to use an AK or just to customize an AK?
Yeah, as a loadout. This actually reminds me that the other cool thing that they did with Warzone is that because with multiplayer and Call of Duty, you have to get gun experience and experience points for leveling up and stuff like that. When you drop into a lobby, when you kill people, that gets you experience and gun experience as well.
Yeah. So does Plunder, which is why I like playing Plunder now, because it's like, oh, like I don't have to wait for the game to start, and I don't have to search for a game. If I die, I can like respawn after 20 seconds.
Right.
Anyways, yeah, I think Call of Duty, one of the best BRs that ever came out.
Oh man, I think you just over exaggerating on that one, man. But it's a good game.
Yeah, okay. But what is then? If he's exaggerating, what's the best BR that's come out?
Fortnite for them. For them.
That's the most popular one. That's not the same as best.
Well, speaking of normie games, 2K will make an NFL game, but for the first time in 16 years.
But I don't think it's I don't think it's going to be like a competitor to EA's Madden.
No,
game.
they already said it's not going to be kind of traditional football game along the lines of Madden.
It's going to be more like Blitz or something like that, right?
I'm sure it's going to be like something like arcade style football. Yeah,
that is exactly what I thought when I read this article.
Didn't they make were they the ones that made like the NFL Legends game a long time ago?
I don't know.
I think it was, because I'm pretty sure that was the game that they came out with. They came out with some kind of game along those lines, because they lost their ability to use licensed NFL teams. After a while, like EA kind of locked it down so that they could have it just for Madden, because there was a time where NFL 2K was starting to kind of encroach on Madden sales. That's why they haven't made one in 16 years, because all they could do was like make these kind of off-brand NFL games, and they weren't really selling anything. So then they stopped. But it'd be interesting. I kind of wanted, like, I've wanted for a while something like NFL Blitz to come back out, because that was a super fun game.
Blitz is a lot of fun, and I've been wanting to have a game like that come back again.
Yeah, like
and realistically, it's not like
sports game.
Yeah, exactly. Like Blitz was legit. It wasn't even just arcade. It was just over the top. Like, people jumped way too high when you tackled somebody, could knock them like, 10 yards down the field. Stuff. It was crazy.
Okay, now I got another question when it comes to, because this is 2K and they have a recent history with sports games. What do you think about?
Yeah, it's coming.
Yeah. It's like saying, okay, now here's $10. You have to pay $10 for you to get a chance of getting this specific character.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
or player, I should
my
say.
guess would be that it would not be that case. Maybe there could be some like kind of microtransactions in there.
Because that's what they did
but
with 2K20 NBA.
yeah, but at the same time, 2K20 is like it's like the basketball game. There's like they have no competition, so it's like you throw that in there. It's like where else are people gonna go?
Yeah.
But if you just make kind of like an arcade, I think the audience for if there was like an arcade style football game, the audience for that isn't big enough to where they probably can afford to do all those kind of microtransactions in there. Because then most people probably just like, I'm not gonna buy it and I'll go play Madden or something.
Oh yeah, because there is like a certain type of competition, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. With like NBA 2K, kind of the only alternative is like NBA Live, which has been kind of a disaster for a while. I think LadyInfamous is the only one that plays it.
I mean, I remember when I was working at PlayStation, there was
Plays what?
3 NBA games, and then I'm the one that had to.
NBA Live.
Yeah, there was
I
NBA.
do like live. Oh, that's so fun.
There was NBA, the PlayStation version. Like it was a PlayStation exclusive NBA game, NBA Live, and
that
2K,
was-
NBA 2K, and then like we had to keep recommend like as for good of our to keep our integrity, we kept recommending 2K's NBA game.
Well, yeah, because it was definitely it was considered to be the best one. That's why it kind of survived the kind of NBA basketball wars, I guess you want to call it. It was kind of I think yeah, EA just kind of bought out Madden, so Madden won, but like NBA like Live just wasn't as good of a game as the 2K series was. So, but yeah, it's interesting. Like I do want to see where they go with it because I think what it was called All Pro Football. I think 2K8 is what it was, where they basically had, they couldn't use like the current NFL players, so they had like all these all-star legends and stuff like that in the game. I hope it's nothing like that because it'll be the same problem I'm sure as before, where people are like, if it's just football with like all the legends, they're like, why don't I just play the current one? Because that's like, what I'm watching, not the current one, but Madden, because I'm watching and I get to keep up with the players as they're currently playing and their stats and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's just not going to be as deep as a game based on the current league is going to be. So I'm sure people wouldn't latch onto it like that.
Yeah, kind of
So
like
I think it will be some kind of arcade.
kind of
thing.
like the new NBA Jam.
Exactly. That's essentially the equivalent of what like
the one up
Blitz
arcades
was.
NBA Jam. Like apparently they keep up to date with the players.
Still?
Yeah, apparently.
Really?
Yeah, they
Wow,
like
that's pretty
update the player the players of modern game or modern NBA.
Yeah, players in the league now.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. That's kind of the way to do it. Although that does sort of cause you to lose a little bit of money because then you don't have a reason to buy whatever the next one is. But there is no next NBA Jam as far as I know.
I don't like this whole like yearly release thing. I think you just have to stick with just one game and just keep up iterating the engine and the game, like, make it evergreen, kind of like how like Fortnite and Counter-Strike is doing.
I've legitimately been having that argument with like my friends who are super into like Madden and like NBA 2K. I've been having that argument since probably like 2010. It's like they like the fact that it's just every single year it's a new game and like they have to figure out how to make the game different enough to sort of justify you buying the new version. It means they always try to redo like all kinds of stuff. Even, if you like the stuff, it's like, oh, new physics engine. And then all of a sudden you get people colliding and like their arms stretching out and flying all over the place and stuff like that because they had to do something new. And then, they always have to give you a reason to justify it. And I'm like, why not just make like an engine and keep improving on the engine? And then maybe once every, I don't know, however many years you want to pick, 5 years. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying like once every 5 years or 10 years or something, however you want to decide, then you try a new engine. But in between, then you just keep on improving on the game to make like the best game. But the only problem is then again, they get money from you once unless you're buying updates.
Well, that's why.
So,
then microtransactions would make sense if it makes sense, right?
Oh, sure, yeah. If you only have to buy the game once every 5 years, then yeah, microtransactions.
Or hell, just make it
kinda
free
makes
to
sense.
play, and then like I bet more people would come in and join and see the world of that particular friend.
Yeah,
thing.
but the problem would be how annoying would that game be with microtransactions though if it was free to play? Like I guarantee, like in order to make it, if you had a free to play like Madden football game, for example, you can't make people have to buy players in the league. That would make absolutely no sense. So theoretically, they probably would have to, they'd be able to play through
Like a
their
rotation?
entire NFL season without having to pay. So what do they make you pay for? They'd
I'm
have
not
they'd
sure, but
microtransaction
maybe like
everything,
skins
dude.
or something like that. You know what I mean? Something that's
But
not
for
game
football though,
breaking.
you think people would care?
Probably. I mean, like, this is like the thing I use like League of Legends and like the current Counter-Strike, right? Current Counter-Strike, you don't have to pay $15 for the game anymore. It's all free to play now, and
Yeah.
like, you know, like it's still thriving today, even though they're using an engine from like, you know, since PlayStation 3.
But you know, there's a major difference though, and that's the fact that like NFL football is real. So the game that they're making is based on like real life. So it's like that's why I said like with skins, what skins are you giving people?
I'm pretty sure
Like,
they can figure something out there.
Oh, I'm sure they would, but like I don't know. I just don't know if they'd make the money that they would expect to. I would expect it to be more so like you buy the game and then there's microtransactions in the game. Because I don't know, nobody's gonna. I don't think if you want to play, you know, the Baltimore Ravens or something like that, you're not gonna buy, you know, a set of new jerseys for the entire team that don't actually exist in the real world. I don't think anyway. But
yeah, or maybe
either way,
go
I
through
think
like
it's
a
interesting.
rotation or of character or of characters, or if you want to buy out a team or something like that, because that's how League of Legends does it. And I guess
Yeah, but that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, well, you said buy out a team. What does that mean?
like, okay, so like, you know how like I'm gonna give League as an example. Like League, you know, you get like 10 heroes, and same with Heroes of the Storm too, right? Like they do like a
Yeah.
10 hero rotation every week, and so it's like a whole team rotation. Like you
Wait,
like
so-
like
so
think of
are
it
you
like
thinking,
like
like-
you know, think of it like the Niners and like
I don't know. Do you think people will buy into that?
I don't know. And then
Like,
it's
I
just
can
like saying,
only
well, I
play
want
with
to
a
play
single team.
only that team, because chances are people are probably going to only play that team, right? Or if they want to customize their character, their player, their lineup, they're probably going
I
to
mean,
just
from what I see from people playing like Madden and Live and 2K and stuff like that, they don't just play with one team. Everybody has their team, but they don't just play with that team.
yeah, exactly.
So like,
So they can buy more than, because same with League, right? You don't just play one character,
sure.
you play more than one.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be weird to have a game where like, you know, there's 27 teams in the NBA and you get the game and you're like, you can only play as one of them. And then you got to buy the rest of them. I feel like nobody would pay for that.
Well, you don't just, you know, pick one of them. Like I said, maybe they'll rotate 5 types of teams for free or something. I don't know. I don't want to keep giving them
Yeah.
ideas to make us pay more for something.
I don't think it'll ever happen, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. But either way, I think it's kind of interesting. Just that, like, it's been such a long time that they finally seem to be figuring out how to get their foot back in the door somehow. In terms of just being able to make stuff, you know, centered around the NFL,
Mhm.
because they killed it they 100% disrupted like the fact that, you know, Madden was like the only game out there back in the day. So, and I remember there was a lot of people like I said, my closest friends, like they played, you know, football and basketball games, and I remember them being super disappointed when like the 2K NFL 2K series like all of a sudden didn't have like licensed players, and then all of a sudden it was going away, and you know, you found out it was because EA had paid for that exclusivity deal with the NFL. They were super disappointed because they thought that like NFL 2K was clearly better than Madden. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see where they go with it, since they finally again have their way in.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Next topic, which is Silent Hill series reboot, PlayStation backs.
It's a rumor. It's a rumor. But, you know, it's a good delicious
I bet it's a
rumor.
pachinko game.
I bet not.
I mean,
Oh, wait,
you know
so-
who owns Silent
Yeah.
Hill, yeah?
No, Tell me.
Konami.
Well, they can do it. They should.
No, and
I
you know
think
what
they should.
Konami makes most of their money? Pachinko machines.
Oh, really? I did not know that. Thanks for the.
And Love Hotels.
Oh yeah, because they don't make it here. They make it in Japan, right?
Yeah, and Love Hotels.
I think I might have been to Konami's Love Hotel
There's one in Japan called
just
the Love.
to see it. Yeah,
Wait, did you said you've been there or you want to go there?
I didn't stay
It's
there.
ch-
But I'm pretty
well,
sure I've been.
I
there.
mean, I've stayed in some because it's cheap.
I've seen a lot of videos of Love Hotels. They look awesome.
Yeah, and it's
It looks-
cheap.
I like the theme ones. I like the
Yeah,
They always look cheesy
Nintendo
to me.
Love Hotels too.
No, there was one night. It was futuristic. It reminded me like a nightclub in Mass Effect or something in a Mass Effect game. It was like neon lights and I don't know. I'll show you guys the link, but it was cool. And there was like I don't know. I haven't been there. I just did I watched videos on Japan, so those were one of the things.
You gonna go to one?
I hope so. With the rumor about PlayStation going back to Silent Hill. Look, I ain't gonna lie, yo. I ain't the biggest scary game person, but I think they should revive it. I don't know. What you mean? You disagree?
I only agree with 1 and 2.
Oh, you don't agree with the Silent Hills though?
Oh, well, that's something different.
I assume that's where you're gonna go with it. I mean, even looking
Kojima's
at the
not
article,
there.
it kind of, yeah, no, but I mean, I figure that even if he's not there, they probably could finish the game. It
It's
might not be what
entirely
it would have been, but
It's entirely dependent on who the creative director is and who's going to be on this. Because, like, okay, yeah, like reboot the Silent Hill series and maybe make Silent Hills or whatever. But like, what we got out of PT, like everything that was about that was Kojima, and Norman Reedus being at the end of that. But PT was like, it was completely different of a feeling in what it was for like the original Silent Hill.
Did you play it?
It didn't change how scary it was.
Well, I mean, what makes it scary is like dependent on who makes it. Like,
here's the thing though,
who finds it scary?
Like, and this is shameless plug for somebody that's not even on this podcast. I had mentioned to you guys that like I started watching like Markiplier a bunch because I didn't realize he did scary games. That game. Not exactly that game, but that style of game I've seen like at least 5 times on like stuff he's played. So it's not like he Kojima would be the only one that could execute on that style of game.
I didn't even say that.
Oh no, I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying like if they wanted to make it and make a scary game along the lines of what PT was, they still could make that game, I'm sure, without Kojima. It probably just would barely be a Silent Hill game.
Yeah, like they definitely could. And like that actually reminds me that there is like the other game that is kind of like PT is called Visage, and I don't know if it actually got fully released yet.
It did.
It was in early access.
I remember seeing that one.
It did.
I think so.
But like that type of game, it does it really, really well, but in terms of this, like it still needs to have a good person behind it that knows horror, that knows how to make it unsettling, like all these things. But the other thing being that like this is supposed to be like, because Silent Hills, and it was supposed to be a spiritual successor of Silent Hill, and it's supposed to have some sort of relatability to it. I was hoping to see what was going to happen with that. But
the question for you guys, did you guys play it? PT? Sorry, PT. Yeah. Did you play PT?
I played half of it, but then got stuck because I couldn't progress further in it, even with like guides that I followed, and I watched the entire thing.
Because I don't know if I've seen people play it, but I don't know if I could make the connection. Was there any connection to the Silent Hill universe other than the fact that it said Silent Hills at the end?
Everything that I read, like I could not I could not see any pieces that fit with Silent Hill and Silent Hills.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't
So-
Silent Hill the name of the place?
Yeah, that's the place
Exactly.
they're at. Yeah.
It's the name of the place, but then also when you enter Silent Hill, essentially the same thing happens to you. And one of those, like, you enter a different realm facing your own mind and all the shit and trouble that you went through, but also that other people went through and stuff like that.
With the ending
Like,
that doesn't
a lot
make
of stuff
sense.
happens. I mean, yeah, that too. But whoever it would be behind the reboot of Silent Hill, like, they're gonna have to do it right, but also everything that's after 1 and 2, like, it just kind of goes downhill. I've watched bits and pieces of 3. I've watched bits and pieces of like The Room or whatever it was.
4.
I don't know if that was 4. Was that 4?
The 4.
Yeah.
It was like you were in a room and you can only look out like the window and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, and you had parts where, like, you would be outside of the room doing something, and then once you were done with a level, you would go back in and something would change. And, like, see, that one was, from what I saw, it was decent. It was all right. But then all the other ones were just not good. So that's why I'm saying, like, 1 and 2 I would agree with, but everything else, no.
I think the staple was 2.
Yeah, everybody says that 2 was the best.
Yeah, and the music
But-
in that game is so weird. That like it just keeps changing like how music progressive, like it goes from like 4/4 to like 2/4 and then like 1/8, like all in a single like melodic movement. I was like saying, dude, this music melody is just so weird.
Yeah. So in terms of like what this rumor is for like the sources of like a revival, the first source comes from Keiichiro Toyama, who is the director of the original 1999 Silent Hill, and Akira, from the composer of for the majority of the franchise, are also returning alongside Masahiro Ito. The trio will helm a soft reboot of the Silent Hill series, possibly just called Silent Hill. SIE Japan Studio, which possibly includes team members from Project Siren. Was Siren good? Did you guys ever see or play Siren?
Nope.
I
No.
have not.
Okay. The group behind Siren Blood Curse for the PlayStation 3 will be behind its development in some capacity. The second source, which has no connection to the first, was aware of Ito's involvement in a new Silent Hill title and informed us of that information some time ago. And I think there was a third source in here too. Another thing here is source number 1 goes on to say that the game will even make use of the next-gen PlayStation VR headset for PlayStation 5. Allegedly, Sony has pitched the game to Kojima as a title more akin to a Telltale supermassive narrative-driven title, which would offer him full creative freedom. I don't like that. The Telltale or like Until Dawn, like or the Man of Medan sort of like approach to it, as far as for like an episodic or just how you do it. For Silent Hill, that seems like it's doing it an injustice. However, Resident Evil 7 in VR, I've watched that, and that they did that pretty good. From what I
People seem to
saw,
like it, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that they like original people are going back to like pretty much do a soft reboot of Silent Hill, it looks like it's picking up, but hopefully it's just of 1 or 2. Like, or not even that, just like have the key things that make Silent Hill and makes it just creepy and grotesque or unsettling. Hopefully, like, just all of those things are there, because
Yeah.
I would like to play a Silent Hill game.
Yeah, Silent Hill wasn't really much about jump scares. It's more of like the whole like unsettling thing.
Exactly. But my only relatability to this is like when I played Resident Evil 1 remake, And that's how it got me, because it was just unsettling. It was like, there were times where like, oh shit, a zombie, and I didn't like hear it or go, or it just comes out of nowhere or something like that. But then it was also like the sound design, and that I also had to hear like, is something there? I don't know if something is there. Like, and also like just the text or the reading of it. So I think just these core components is what's gonna make a soft reboot of Silent Hill actually good.
I mean, we'll see. I mean, the only Silent Hill experience I have is the movie. I've never actually played or watched anybody played it. I've seen snippets of it, and all my friends played it, and we all watched the movie together. Like back back when I forgot when that movie came out, but I remember we were going to watch it, and then I was like, and then by the end of the movie, I was like saying, so I don't get the ending. Can someone explain it to me? And all my friends were like saying it's not supposed to make sense, just like the games.
It's a weird assessment to make.
I've had that happen for a movie, or actually for a few movies. And one that I can't remember the title of, it was like the Tank of 14.5 whatever, I don't know what it was, but it was on Netflix, and I watched the entire thing, but then we get to the end and there was a few parts that just did not make sense at all. We get to the end and we were just like, what was that ending? Like, what exactly happened? You go to read about it, and all the directors say were like, yeah, you're supposed to make up your own ending. And it's like, well, go fuck yourself. No, I want you to tell me the ending. So, but like, I guess for Silent Hill, it might be a little bit different, because you can extrapolate from the events that happen and all that stuff and make some sort of sense of it. But then, like, if there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense and they don't connect to each other, and you get to an end that does not make sense, and then you're just left with make it up on your own. You didn't actually tell a story.
No, you told the beginning of a story.
Just, yeah, you told the beginning of a story, or you just told some nonsense. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But what else is? There's another thing that's coming back too. Did anybody miss Tony Hawk?
I haven't missed it any time they've announced they were coming back, except for maybe after Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Was it 2? I think 3. Yeah, 3 was. I feel like 3 was kind of when it started to fall off, but 2 was fantastic. I haven't missed it since 2. I don't think.
I played 2 on a PC, and let me tell you, I was playing it at like 1 frame every 2 seconds.
Wait, when was this? When it came out?
I think so.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have a graphics card.
I'm sure that would help.
Straight off of like a 500 megahertz PC.
My last good experience with a Tony Hawk game was American Wasteland, I think.
I don't think I played that one.
I think so. I think that it was American Wasteland. It was that one, because I remember it was like set in SoCal, and you created your character. And I had a decent experience with that one. But yeah, up until 3, those were really good. And there was a Game
so
Boy
maybe it was
Advance
3.
game that
I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I played 3 too. 3 TOO, but yeah.
So there's a few sources that say that we're getting a Tony Hawk Pro Skater in this year. One of them being a band called The Death Set made a Facebook post, and they just said, just licensed 5 new songs to Tony Hawk 2020 game. You'll be hearing this shit soon. And somebody like screen capped that and commented, I think this is a breach of NDA, but okay. So that's one thing.
Oh, he's not getting any more offers.
Right? Like, I think like once you announce that, it's either you get your songs cut from the game and you get a lawsuit. One or the other.
Or both.
Or both, yeah. Now, I think there was another one, another rumor, but there's a few sources. A new title during a 2019 interview with the 9 Club. A longtime rumor mill also suggested back in November
that Activision were working hard at working on a remake of classic PlayStation releases of Pro Skater and Pro Skater 2.
That's what they should do.
That's actually what they really should do.
Just remake the old ones.
Remake 1 and 2. Because I believe, and I'm pretty sure this is what everybody else is gonna say, the Pro Skater games, or just the Tony Hawk games, went downhill as soon as they added like NPCs or dialogue.
Yeah, it wasn't just like show up to a place and
story.
skate. It was like, yeah, you're trying to add story into it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's not what a Tony Hawk game is supposed to be. Like, you just go in with a time limit, or just have us go in to like one level that loads up and then we complete some objectives, even if you have a time limit or not.
Or be like a high score person too.
Yeah, that was like the big thing.
Kind of like how SSX works.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, SSX is kind of like a progression of like what Tony Hawk was. It's just like, high scoring, like do
except
really cool
you don't have like
tricks
a
and
park
stuff.
to play with.
Yeah, you
it's
just
more
have the
like,
whole
you just go down the slope.
Yeah. Bringing up SSX, I really want SSX 3 again. Like, that's the only
I
one
loved
that
SSX 3. I liked it more than Tricky.
Oh my god. Those were so good. But anyways, I hope they do this right, and I hope Tony Hawk is not gonna, or is actually going to point this in the right direction.
I mean, what if they make it close to like Skate?
I
never played
Skate. Seems really good, so it might be good. Honestly, to me at this point, Tony Hawk in terms of like skateboarding games is starting to kind of feel like M. Night Shyamalan in terms of like movies, where it's like you might just need to not have his name on there, and maybe people might get excited about it. But like, I think they have such a bad track record, like, since the Pro Skater games, like up, I guess from after 3, that it's like, just call it something else. Maybe just leave his name out the title, because I think nobody's gonna get excited.
You know how much Tony Hawk gets paid? Like, I bet he gets paid a lot of money just to have his name on
I'm sure
there.
he does, yeah.
Because that's how Tiger Woods got hella money too.
Yeah.
Like, his name was
he
on
made
the
so much
game.
money in them golf games. Yes, he did.
He is racking it up.
So I think that I don't know about if just having the Tony Hawk name is gonna put a damper on it. If anything, if they make this as like just Tony Hawk Pro Skater, they don't have like any other title on it, or they don't make it anything different than like the original games, then like that already brings in the nostalgia that all of us have, or anybody that is over the age of like 23 that like have played some of these games.
I think it's more of like a marketing recognition.
I think that's all it is.
Because I think if they say like, oh yeah, another skateboarding game, I don't think a lot of people is going to care.
Nah, but then like, what about Tom Clancy?
Well, Tom Clancy,
same with Tom Clancy.
Yeah, but that's like shooters. Has Tom Clancy really had like any games to put that big of a scar on the name? Not to say that Tom Clancy has anything to do with any of these games, but
I don't think he had anything to do
with that's what I'm saying. Nothing to do with
the games by now.
But you have like Siege.
It's just his name.
Well,
he's dead. Yeah. So it's like, but you have Siege. You have some bad games. So you have like Ghost Recon games, which tend to be hit or miss. But like, then you also have like Rainbow Six games, which people seem to love. So I don't think there's like enough of a scar on there. The reason why I think like Tony Hawk is like a little bit of an outlier is, I don't know if you guys knew this. I'm looking it up right now. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There have been 17 Tony Hawk games. And
What?
And we're basically saying
really
that we have been, across different platforms, I guess, but like Pro Skater 2, 3, 4, Underground 2, American Wasteland, Downhill Jam, Project 8, Proving Ground, Motion, Ride, Shred, Pro Skater HD, which might have been a remake, I don't know, Shred Session, Pro Skater 5, and Skate Jam. Which,
Jesus,
that's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
and how many, if we basically kind of like, at least 2 of us agreed, I don't know what the rest of you guys think, that the third one on the list was the last good one. And I think that's why I said it's kind of like the M. Night Shyamalan thing, where it's like, at this point, because of how many times they try to make this game and it's just like not great, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as the possible Tony Hawk game in the future that's good, as much as it's just like, if you say new Tony Hawk game, the first thing I'm not thinking, oh, I'm excited about it. I'm just like, we'll see. So yeah.
Well, it's more like it's not that we're excited to see it. It's more like remember the good days.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
I wonder who's going to be on. Actually, that's the other thing. We don't know who's going to be developing
that's
this
true.
because the primary developer of the good ones was Neversoft, and they made 4 Underground 1 and 2, Project 8 Proving Ground, and that was it. So, that also might be an Activision thing too. I'm not sure if like Neversoft is a part of Activision anymore or what it is. Oh yeah, the company was acquired by Activision in '99. The studio was merged with Infinity Ward on May 3rd, 2014, and was made defunct on 2014. So they're not a thing anymore. Never mind. So we just have to have really good devs for this to point this in the right direction.
Okay. Anyways, can I say something about something for like 1 minute, just because that way I have like something to write on the podcast description is Command and Conquer Remaster. Okay, that's it.
That's it. Okay.
I mean, real quick, did anybody play those games?
Yep, I played all of them. I loved Command and Conquer.
I played all of them.
Wait, you played all of them too, LadyInfamous? Oh, I thought you was just like mocking Sharky.
I was.
Okay.
I was. Come on.
Do they still? Is it
was,
in? What's the most recent one?
Command.
Game?
Oh yeah, the mobile game. But then
what about before that?
Like an actual
Full
game.
on,
There's a
yeah.
Command and Conquer 4, like the Tiberium version, not the Red Alert one.
When would that have come out? Like, is that like relatively recent?
No, several years ago. Like it was bad.
I mean,
It
I
was
would say
really,
like the
really
last
bad.
5 years is like recent. Was it like sometime?
Yeah, somewhere in the last 5 years.
Okay, so at this
it
point,
was really bad.
Are they still doing like the cheesy like full motion video cutscene thing?
Yep.
Really?
Same actor too. Same actor.
Wow. Well, I mean, at this point,
at least the Tiberium franchise.
Oh, okay, cool.
The Red Alert
dedication.
version, like it ended at 3, and then like I liked Red Alert more than the Tiberium one, but the Tiberium one, like the last, like what do you call it? Command and Conquer 3, the Tiberium games, like that one was actually good. Number 4 was bad. Red Alert 1, 2, and 3 were good.
I feel like everybody liked Red Alert. That was the one. I think I have Red Alert too, but I just never even.
Yeah, they have an iconic music too, called Hell's March. It actually felt like an actual like war, like getting ready for war type of music.
Wait, so I just had a brain fart. So were you saying that there's a new one?
No, they're gonna remaster all the old ones.
Oh, remastering all of them, really? Okay.
Yeah, and not only that, these guys are so passionate with this, like that they actually went into the Westwood archives and looked for like videotapes for like all the footage that
so
was
they want
shot.
to use the exact same footage. Well, I guess that makes sense.
But then they also went out of their way to like frame by frame like upscaling all of them.
Wow, really?
Wow.
Are you gonna play it?
Shit.
Probably. I mean, I loved Command and Conquer. It's only going to be $20.
Yeah, I mean, but just from what you know of the games, does it seem like something where like in 2020, if it comes out in 2020, it'll hold up?
Yeah, I mean, one thing I forgot to say that I played last week for only once was Age of Empires Definitive Edition.
I was gonna say, yeah, because it's like an RTS, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I played that for just one scenario, and that's it. And then I was like saying, "Yep, so still good." And it looked. They also animated certain aspects of that game too, like when the building crumbles down instead of it just next frame was just a destroyed building. They actually have like the building actually crumble down.
Yeah. So you think it'll probably be kind of similar for Command and Conquer, where you're like, "Yep, still good."
Yeah. Like because I remember like 2 years ago they posted something on Reddit, and then like I was like saying, oh shoot, I'm gonna say something, and then I was in that original Reddit thread that they were asking. It's like saying, if we were to remaster this thing, what do you guys want and what do you guys don't want? And then guess what the majority of the people said on what they don't want?
Those ones that you thought were bad.
Microtransactions.
Oh,
because it's gonna be it was because it was run by EA, and they said like they took note on that. Yeah, but now they're gonna do matchmaking with ranks and ladder system with an elo.
So you're gonna have a new mainstream game.
Maybe.
All right.
I don't know. That depends on how well it will do. But at the same time, this is like a remaster, so it's not. I don't think it's gonna like continue on for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, never know. As long as the community builds up, maybe it'll be the start of it. It could be an esport or something if it's good enough.
We'll see about that. I mean, I remember when Command and Conquer 3 came out, like GameSpot. Remember GameSpot? Like they held tournaments.
Wow.
remember the good old days of GameSpot? Yeah. There's a lot of good old days. But
I guess that was a long time ago.
Remember they had like on the spot, like before YouTube.
I remember
like,
on the spot.
Yeah, on the spot and all that, and they had like community tournaments and stuff like that. I was in that tournament. I was in the finals.
Nice.
Oh shit. Nice.
Awesome.
There's a lot more other things that we gotta see too. Well, I guess what's coming out soon, what we'll have to see is the details on the Xbox Series X. It's coming next week, in the form of a live stream.
Yeah. As soon as E3 got canceled, the next announcement that they did from Xbox.
And I am willing to bet that Sony was waiting for this moment for a long time.
The thing is that it wasn't because of E3. It was GDC.
Yeah, they were like, this happened because of GDC.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. But I did see a tweet from Phil Spencer after E3 got canceled, talking about in the words like, oh, I'm sorry, we can't do FanFest this year, but we'll do a community digital event like FanFest Online. What I assume will be like FanFest Online. Well, they'll have panels, they'll have people talking about their experience with the video games, and probably some giveaways throughout the chat. But I like how quick Xbox had a response as far as getting their information out with their consoles. To be honest with you, I don't think these consoles coming out this year.
For what reason? You mean because of supply? Because all the everything that's going on, or what? Oh yeah, I mean that's definitely a risk to everything.
I think it might be delayed. Yeah, it might be a delay, probably spring 2021. I'm guessing here now.
Or they'll come out because they'll be way too.
It got to be cheaper than what.
I mean, I don't think they'll be cheaper, but I mean they'll probably just be scarce because of like. I doubt they'll be more expensive, but it might be like when the Nintendo Wii came out and everybody grabbed them up as soon as they could, and then it was just like nothing. So I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm ready.
Like, why would you expect them to be cheaper out of curiosity?
I don't know. I guess because of the economy, how it's going.
Yeah, they still cost the same. It still costs the same to make.
The only thing that actually really heavily inflated in the economy is only three things: housing,
toilet paper.
No.
Yeah.
Health, the health industry, and God, what was it? It was housing, and one more thing. I can't think of it right now, but yeah, there's only three things that really shot up in price.
But keep thinking about it for a moment. The event is called GameStack Live, and it'll be the 17th through to the 18th, so in the next few days. And they will start at 1 p.m. Eastern or 11 a.m. Pacific. So make sure you jot that down on your calendars. Details on the Microsoft's Xbox Series X and Project xCloud are scheduled for March 18th at 2:40 p.m. Eastern, and a live stream called Xbox Series X plus Project xCloud equals new chapter in gaming. So
I have a feeling I know what this is. What do you guys think? How do you
I-
think xCloud is going to be applicable in all this?
I think that xCloud is going to be sort of like the PlayStation Now
Yeah, that's what
version,
I was thinking.
like sort of the
Yeah.
streaming thing, but also mix that up with Google Stadia, because it wasn't wasn't part of the details of Project xCloud that you didn't have to play it. You didn't have to play it on an Xbox,
On a
but you could play it
phone.
on
Yeah,
your
yeah, yeah.
phone.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, like I think it's all gonna be hand in hand, and also like because it's gonna be cloud gaming, it'll have the cross saves that like whatever you play on your phone will go back to your Xbox Series X and vice versa, shit like that. So
Yeah. And then I also think like Microsoft, like what are the three biggest networking infrastructures in the world right now, right? And then I think Microsoft owns one of them, which is Azure.
Azure is pretty big, yes.
Yeah. So like I think they might be building it off of that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
I mean,
that
remember
is a
when I
good thing
said
too,
like the
'cause it's
three
robust.
inflated things? Not education is the third one that I was thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I believe that. Yeah.
Everything else is just, it only rose very slowly, but those three things are the biggest setbacks.
So, LadyInfamous, are you gonna be doing a stream of GameStack Live, or are you just gonna watch it with your fellows?
Probably not. Probably I'll be working.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Middle of the day.
I gotta get all the. Yeah, I'll be working.
I think I'm gonna try to stream it
Gotcha.
again
Me too.
if I'm home.
All right.
What day is it again?
17th and 18th.
Ew.
So we're looking at Tuesday and Wednesday.
Okay, what time Tuesday?
They all start at 11 a.m.
I can do I can do that. I can do
Okay.
that. I can do.
Well,
I go to work at 1:45.
Oh, so then, but
Yeah, I can-
specifically on the 18th at, I guess it's 11:40 in the morning is when they're doing like the details on the Series X and X Cloud.
Well, I'll
But
be
you
at
know,
work.
the rest of it. So it seems like they're gonna, some of the stuff that they might be talking about like on the 17th, like because it's a 2-day event. You might want to focus more and specifically on like the 18th, because they're talking in the article. They're saying like they're talking about, you know, doing some talks on Gears 5 and ID at Xbox and ray tracing and stuff like that. So it might be like some of the panels that they were gonna have at GDC. At which point it's
Exactly.
like, I don't know how much of that you're gonna specifically be interested in, like, you know, as a gamer versus like, you know, somebody who might have been, you know, a developer who would be interested more in that stuff. But specifically, yeah, Tuesday at 11:40 in the morning is when they're doing that. The actual stuff that you might be interested in.
And to note to everybody, that these are all going to be live streamed on Mixer.
Yeah, of course.
No, like that's well, it's very. You have to point that out. I think because like, of course it's Microsoft, but also like because I'm sure that everybody
Oh wait, I
is
didn't
so.
even think about that. So in order to, if we wanted to stream it and do like commentary or
to be
something,
with
you have to be playing it on Mixer and then streaming
Yeah.
the video from Mixer on your stream. Interesting. Okay, I didn't
Yes.
even think about that. Good thing you brought it up.
Not even on YouTube Live.
That's what I was thinking. It'd be like YouTube Live, but maybe it. Yeah.
Maybe.
Because it, like, I feel like they'll do a bigger outreach if they did that.
I mean, it literally just says all talks will be live streamed on Mixer. It might just
Yeah.
be Mixer. But I mean, it makes sense. It's their platform, so.
All right. Well, since we're in that industry aspects, Reggie joining GameSpot or GameStop.
Joining GameStop. Yeah, joining GameStop, a heavily dying company. And
I honestly think they should just die.
I got shares in that. Nuh-uh.
Is that what you bought?
I think GameStop should just die.
I got 3 shares now. I got 3 stocks. But it went up. As soon as I heard this news, I went on Robinhood. I bought 2 stocks of GameStop.
You said when you heard that he was joining? I mean, that might be
Yeah.
worthwhile because if he turns it around and, your stocks might go up
He's
in
gonna
value.
make it.
Exactly.
Okay, everybody, we're dropping everything and turning this into a Nintendo themed store.
Actually, yeah. Actually, the stock went up today. I mean, Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Reggie Fils-Aimé writes that the gaming industry needs a healthy and vibrant GameStop. I look forward to being a port of the GameSpot or God damn it, of the GameStop board and helping make this happen. I think just having a game store with no other frills and fucking bells and whistles and Funko Pops, just fucking have it be a game store and game accessories.
I got a question for you guys based on what you were just saying. In your opinions, what do you think, outside of what Zeldrick was just saying, where I guess, you're saying because that's basically where it seems like they make all their money now, right? So they're like the pops and all that kind of stuff, right? What do you guys think? What could Reggie do to somehow make GameStop in 2020, like to revitalize the stores?
Make it a community center.
I think that's what GameStop being a community center.
Yeah, like a gathering place.
Yeah.
I don't
more
know.
of like you have more stations for kind of like if you have so a bunch of stations that like people can play games together,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, like those
Okay.
internet cafes, except
Yeah, but right now, as soon as
They don't seem to do well here.
coronavirus,
Just saying that. But sorry, what were you saying, LadyInfamous? Right
not
now?
here. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No, I think I cut you off. My bad. That's why I was like, what were you saying? Right now.
It's right now with the coronavirus. I mean, whatever Reggie got planned, it got to be on hold. Did I say GameSpot or GameStop?
Oh, you said that right, but I think you said the canola virus.
Yeah, let's just use that word because we don't want to use the actual word because our SEO for last week was not that great because we used it 3 times.
So it's more about the entire infrastructure of GameStop is what needs to change. What needs to be pushed. Any sort of like the Power Up Rewards Pro like subscription or like plans or whatever, like I don't like that at all. Like I think that's a really dumb thing. But also like just that's really what it is. The infrastructure that GameStop is built on, like at first, like people bought into it because like it was relative, like because of EB games and stuff like that, like trading and used games, like that was a thing. But now we're at a point, and we've been at a point actually, where a lot of our games are digital, and most people, or more and more people, are getting their games digitally. But there are a core group of people out there that want to have a physical copy of their games. So, like, they have like other places to go to, like Best Buy and Target and shit like that. However, like if they're going to want to push or sort of develop a different type of infrastructure, like it can't be centered around used games, or if it is going to be if they are going to have used games, which they're still going to, make it better for the consumer, because at this point whatever that GameStop is doing, I mean, it's a business, yes, but it's heavily not for the consumer, it's for the business. And at this point, like, as far as for GameStops go, I would rather go to the mom and pop shop that is 2 towns over to look at old games or new games and hang out there than go to a GameStop. Because also being that a lot of the shit that they sell, like shirts or apparel or toys or whatever the fuck, like don't pertain to me whatsoever. Like I don't like it. And a lot of the apparel or stuff that is game related that I want to get is made by artists that do their own thing, or on sites like
Event centers.
not event centers, but like T, what was that one shirt shop that was at Evo? They have like Killer Instinct
I
and
forget the name of it. I know
Guilty
what
Gear
you mean,
shirts
though.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, but like places or like stores like those, because they have really good designs, but all the designs that they have at a GameStop, they all fucking suck.
like default
let's
designs.
be real. They're all default designs. They're like, there's no style to them. There's no, it's so plain. And also they don't, it's not just like they're so plain, but like, because they're so mass produced, like it's
That everybody has it.
exactly. That's one of the reasons why that all these other stores or artists that like make these pieces of artwork or shirts or whatever the fuck, that's why a lot of their stuff is really good, because they have style and they're limited.
Well, not only that, they also have to choose a vendor that
exactly
that also that they say like saying, is this good quality? Oh no, this is not good quality. So they say, okay, well, I'm going to choose that vendor.
Yeah.
So if you guys allowed me to add in some feedback, I think just kind of summing up what the two of you guys are saying is kind of where I was coming from in terms of what I was thinking too. I think the problem is that it reminds me of Blockbuster, where the business model seems to be based on something that's super antiquated, in the sense that it's like go to a store and buy something. You know, obviously video games, and they sell all their extra stuff and stuff like that, like pops and shirts and whatever is there. But to go along with what you guys were saying in terms of like, you know, when you were saying Zeldrick, they need better designs of shirts and stuff like that. I think they kind of have to figure out how to make it a little bit more boutique than it is. Like a little bit less just like generic store that you go to buy video games, and a little bit more of like, this is a cool place to go, which is along the lines of what Sharpie was saying when you were saying it's kind of like a gathering space. I think Apple is like a great example in the sense that like you can get a phone on Apple.com. You can get like phones in Best Buy. You can get them like almost anywhere, but people will still flock to those freaking stores because they're like, they made it kind of like a meeting space in a lot of ways. Like it's designed really nicely, and like you could even just go in there and hang out if you want to. They have classes in there, all kinds of stuff, but I think they kind of have something. They have to have something that kind of changes the idea of it just being you come here to buy a video game, because at this point, the rest of the market completely made that way more convenient to do other places. Like I can just buy all my games digitally. I can buy them on Amazon, and it'll be like shipped into my house like in a day or two, and I don't have to go to a store. Like it's just, I don't know, that model. I feel like they're a company that has never updated that model. Best Buy is kind of the same, but the thing that I think keeps Best Buy afloat is the fact that they sell a whole bunch of different type of electronics. So it still kind of makes sense to go there, because if you want
So
like a
we
video
should
game,
rename the
what's
games, game. We should rename GameStop to Electronic Boutiques.
that?
Oh wow, we're going throwback. We're going with the throwback.
But no, but
here.
would it be? It would be kind of cool. I feel like I would go definitely to like, I would go to a GameStop if you like when you went there. They sometimes hosted like tournaments, or like Zeldrick said, like they sold clothes, but it was like stuff that was unique
Gaming
just to
clothes.
there, and it was really gaming related. It was like really nice quality and stuff like that. You could go there and just hang out, or you could like, you know, they had other options than just like, I'm supposed to be coming in here to buy video games. Because again, that option is just sort of going into a store to buy a game is kind of outdated at this point.
I mean, does GameStop do anything that's community related?
I mean,
No.
they might. If they
No.
do,
The
I don't think
only
any of us know about it.
The only community thing that has ever been done with a GameStop is, and a lot of GameStops do their pre-orders differently. It just depends on who's running that store. But at the three that are around me, every time that I've been to a midnight release of a game, they've always had an event. They've always had like things going on, something that like involves everybody that's standing in line.
Yeah, nobody does that anymore.
Yeah, like not. I don't know if that happens around you guys, but like that sometimes happens for us. And it stopped happening for a while because of the change of management, but now it started happening again because they actually want to do shit and make an event.
Probably
out of
that's
stuff.
just an easy way to get a bunch of people to the store. But I imagine a lot of people
Right.
stop doing that specifically, again, because you can get them so easily. Like if I ordered something that was coming out tomorrow, I could have it show up at my house when I get home versus like, the only way I could get it is like wait till I get home and then go to the store. Hopefully they have it in stock. If they don't find another store or whatever, I can literally just order it and it'll be waiting for me. So I think the convenience of that might have
Right.
killed the sort of, in a lot of ways, that midnight release thing. But at the same time, like with Death Stranding for you, if you figure out a way to make it cool, like for whatever reason Kojima's in freaking Santa Rosa. Where was he again?
He
was
was
like
Santa
close,
Clara
right?
or something.
he wasn't
Oh,
close
no,
because
he
he
had
had
to
to
drive
drive
home.
like
I
an
forgot.
hour and a half.
But I mean, in driving distance, for whatever reason, he was going to be there. Well, yeah, now you have an event. But like, yeah, just
Right.
saying if you show up here, we'll give you a free sticker or something like that, or like that's not going to work anymore.
No. And so you actually did nail it because GameStop, because right, you can buy games anywhere and in two different forms. So with GameStop, they need to have a reason to have people go in there than for the main reason why
Yeah.
you're there. I want to bring up like two examples. One is like the mom and pop shop again. Like that place is really cool because there's also like there's people that go there that like they have diverse backgrounds and like what they like, what types of games
And
they
they're
play,
usually fans
or like
too.
what
If
they're
it's
into.
a mom and pop like gaming shop, they're going to be fans of games, so you'll be able to talk to them about stuff. Yeah.
Exactly. And then the other place is there's a place at the mall here where it's just a giant room and it's just wall to wall of TVs and like game stations, and there's like a couple of huge tables in there, and they host trading card game events and competitions. They have stations that you can rent for like kind of like an internet cafe that like you can rent for however long amount of time and play whatever game you want. And they have video game tournaments there too. And it's funny, like that place has been open a lot longer than I thought what would be possible, but they're still afloat because they have a lot of people, the same customers going back because the shit that they do there is fun, and they keep revitalizing it. And they also have like food and drinks and
That's the
stuff
other
like
thing.
that.
That's
like,
definitely a way you could get some money. Like,
well, the other thing being that like it's in a mall, so there's a food court like right next to it. So so having that sort of like mixing those two kind of things, I don't know if like GameStop is going to be going into the route of, hey, we are also taking like these 40-year-old games and like we'll take those in and like, make an offer that like that sort of shit, like antique shops. They're not going to do that. But like the same sort of feeling that is like that mom and pop shop and those group gatherings, like the store that I just explained, make it more a community, just like Sharpie said. I think those are two key fundamentals as to like ideas that would make this GameStop turn around, if not like changing the infrastructure of what GameStop is relying on.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. When I was in Japan, like I noticed there was a bunch of, stores doing that. Like they just bring a bunch of people in and they have like card tables and stuff like that for like Pokemon and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah. Yeah, I think in general, just the reason you go into a store can't be just to buy stuff, at least not for something that's readily accessible, like online.
You know what else I
stuff,
noticed when I was in Japan? Like every store has like retro video games. Or not every store, but a lot of them just happen to have like, like Game Boys in like super nice conditions and stuff like that.
Well, so that being said, another thing I'm curious about what you guys think. Do you think it would make sense? What if they did, as part of their business model, obviously a big part of how they made a bunch of their money was used games. What do you guys think about what if they did like a thing where when you trade in used games, you get credit, and that credit can go towards I'm not even thinking about like financial, like you get money credit. You can if you want to, but let's say I give them a game that I don't want anymore. They give me like 5 credits. It's a whole online service, kind of like, we'll call it Netflix, not GameFly. GameFly is what I was thinking of. They send you a shipping thing, you send them the game, and you have credit, and you can get whatever game or games you have enough credit for. and they'll ship those right back to you. Would you participate in that, do you think?
I don't know.
Wait,
I don't know.
So like,
That's a hard question.
wait a minute. That is a hard question, but I'm kind of confused because it's like you trade in a game, you get credit back, which like it means store credit. And then
What's I'm saying? It could be money,
the only
or it could be. I think you could either have the option of money, or you could just use it, or I guess you could just call it money if you want to, just make it money all the time. But like the idea being their used game service as like a thing where again you don't have to go into a store to trade a game. You just say you want to give them a game, they send you a shipping package. Maybe they send you the game you want in exchange for it, and you send them back the game. Postage.
Oh,
paid.
so it's like GameFly, but you trade in
It's
a game.
GameFly, but you keep
get
the game if you want to.
But then what about the game that you wanted to trade in? That
Give it. That's what I'm saying. You send it to them, and it's either worth credit towards whatever game they gave to you, or like. No, it's basically worth credit for whatever game they gave to you. The difference being you don't have to go into a store, and you don't like, it's just something that you do all online to kind of basically revitalize the idea still of trading in used games without having to go to a GameStop.
That is wild because like I'm thinking like, what if I bought a like $15 game at Best Buy that was normally $30 at GameStop? And then I was like, hey, I'm done with this game. I'm going to trade it in. Now, can I get a different one that's worth like $50?
I mean, no. I'm saying that's why I was saying the whole thing of like credit. It's like everything has a value to it. It's not like you trade in a $15 game and get a $50 game. If you trade in a $15 game, you could buy that $50 game for $35.
Got
plus
it.
your credit.
Okay.
The idea just being like, again, rerouting it so that stuff does not have to happen in the store anymore. Because I think that's the part where they're going to kind of fall apart is if they keep trying to make you have to come into the store to do things.
I mean, that would be one thing that they could do.
Man, that's a good business idea. You guys want to make a store like that? And make a franchise and then just blow up from there?
One more way to not get you into the store.
Yeah. Well, I mean, or even like,
yeah.
Again, the idea being not necessarily that they don't want you to go to the store, but what we were talking about before, where they shift the reason why you go. It's not that they're like saying, oh, you don't have to go to the store anymore because now you can ship your used games. They're like, you don't have to go to the store to trade in your used games, but you can go to the store because we still sell games. There's tournaments, there's like, card games, all that kind of. So it's more of a social thing where you have the option to buy stuff while you're there versus like you're coming in the store to complete a transaction. Because I think that's kind of, again, if you go to an Apple store, I only say this because obviously, you guys know I work there, but like if you go to an Apple store, there's unnecessarily always like a million people in those stores. And it's like, I know every single one of y'all already has an iPhone. So why is everybody here? But it's because people go like, they'll have questions. They could take like I said, they could take classes. They can learn how to like do photography with their phones. There's all kinds of reasons they give you to go in. And then while you're there, you're like, oh yeah, I heard the new Apple Watch came out. Let me check on that. And then you might end up buying that on the way out. So maybe at GameStop.
And there's those people that wants to get their stuff repaired for X amount of dollars.
Yeah, they go and they want to get their stuff repaired. And then they, because they crack their screen and Apple's like, oh yeah, we have screen protectors here too, right? And it's, you make your sales based on people already being in the store, but not trying to quote unquote force them to come in. Because I think that would be interesting if like have a Street Fighter tournament, let's say Street Fighter 5 tournament, but you have the Street Fighter 5 for sale too. So people go in there and they're playing it or they think it looks cool. And then they say, oh, I should buy this on the way out.
That's how arcades survive in Japan. They release it on arcades first and they have a whole event for that particular game.
Actually, that would be badass if they could do partnerships to where they could like have games before they came out available to like try.
But you played it on their stations.
Yeah. And, obviously it would have to be limited or whatever, but then like, they would still be able to buy, you could pre-order before you left or something, which would totally sell Sharpie.
That would be a really good idea.
Yeah, that's how they do it in Japan. Like they except they do it in arcade centers.
When's the last time you went to a GameStop, LadyInfamous?
I walked by at GameStop.
See, that's the problem.
I went 2 weeks ago when I went to go watch Onward because my friends they always like to go shop around.
What's in there now?
They got shirts, they got pop figures, they got got figures. They have
Is that what your friends are shopping for? That kind of stuff?
Yeah, I don't know why they go in there. Every time when we go in there, they just buy pops and just leave.
That's funny.
The last time I went to a GameStop was for Death Stranding.
Oh yeah, again, you had a reason.
That's the last time I went. Yeah, well, I mean, but that's the thing. I had one reason. I got it. I left. So, end of story. But it. Like I had described before in Sharpie's friends, it's the same thing in there. It's always the same stuff in there. And for some reason, Funko Pops are just flying off those shelves, just like inside of a Hot Topic. And that's actually what it is. GameStop is like a Hot Topic for gamers. That's all it is.
But it'd be cool. What if they had rotating clothes and rotating items and stuff like that? We're kind of exclusive.
I can't.
No, just they're kind of exclusive. It's you kind of. I guarantee you they would be flocked if they had a bunch of really cool T-shirts in there, and they're next month we're gonna have different ones, but this is all we got of these.
Oh,
they would
go
out
how Teespring does it.
Yeah, they go out immediately.
Yeah,
as long as the shirts were cool, or as long as the merchandise they had was cool. Yeah,
hey, Reggie,
I was gonna say, hey, Reggie, you should listen to the Some Sort of Gaming podcast.
We'll collaborate. We got your back.
Until Sharpie takes all his business when he creates this new business.
Fucking
new
Christ.
Game business. But yeah.
Some sort of a gaming business.
There we go.
Cool.
Well, I think we've hammered this topic enough. I do want to just say something real quick. That's for moving on. There's a Sonic panel that happens every South by Southwest.
Anything canceled?
Well, the whole
South by
thing was
Southwest
canceled. Yeah,
but however, just kind of like how the Xbox thing announcing that they're doing their own thing. Sonic is doing their own thing and
Wait,
weird.
Am I confused?
Right,
Which Sonic are you talking about?
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, there's always a Sonic the Hedgehog panel at South by Southwest? Really?
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
Wow.
Yep. Sega was scheduled to hold their annual Sonic the Hedgehog panel there, where a new game reveal was expected. But now it's in April. So stay tuned and keep on that Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter because they will tell you everything. And I hope the next Sonic the Hedgehog game announcement is good. So
To anybody that's listening, the reason why we were confused is because there's Sonic Internet.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I was like, why does Sonic at South by Southwest?
Well, I think we should start closing out.
Okay.
Cool.
Quick, you gotta go close out.
I got it. I'll go first.
Yes.
So thanks everybody for joining. If anybody wants to come hang out on my stream, I'm at twitch.tv/unsheathedp. If it's kind of like last week, then I'll probably be working from home a lot, so I'll get to stream a bunch this week. Don't know what yet, but hey, I'm looking forward to the surprise. We'll figure it out.
Check me out at LadyInfamous415. Thank you guys for listening to us, and y'all be safe out there.
You can catch me on Twitter and on Twitch at Zeldrick, Zeldrick. This next coming week, I'm gonna fight this constant headache that I've been having. But we're gonna be playing Sekiro, and I'm just gonna hammer that in. I'm gonna try to get through Sekiro as much as I can, and maybe a Final Fantasy VII stream here and there, if I can do some of that stuff on my own time. The only thing I need to do is chocobo farming or the chocobo raising, and nope, that's it. And then we'll be able to plow through that game as well. So check me out at Twitch and Twitter at Zeldrick.
And for me, it's at JSharpie JSharpie and JSharpie TV and all that other stuff. I think I actually don't in the same boat with everybody else that I have no idea what I'm going to be playing this week. I'm also going to try to see if I can set up a time where we can all play Civilization 6 multiplayer.
Oh, that's gonna be really cool.
Yeah, that's gonna be real cool.
Income the size.
You guys are gonna be like, oh my god, stop taking over my.
Yeah, we'll see you guys in like 6
culture.
years. Once we're done with this game, finally.
All right, that's it for this week. We will all see you guys next week.
All right, bye, y'all.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. Please like, favorite, subscribe, whatever platform you're listening to on. It only takes 2 seconds, maybe not even 2 seconds.